we are traveling today here. We have Dr. Daryl Gioffre, one of my favorite friends, colleagues, and he's in his FLOWpresso here in Manhattan.
Oh yeah.
And how does it feel, Dr. Gioffre?
It feels amazing.
Yeah.
It feels amazing.
And why do you like the FLOWpresso? Could you share with everybody, because they're sick of hearing it from me?
I'm never sick of hearing it from you. I'm going to tell you, lymphatic drainage is the single most important thing we could do for our health, especially now with COVID-19, because when this whole pandemic happened, so many people literally, we got the quarantine slapped on us. We crawled into our foxholes and we stopped moving. And not only is it important for our body, but motion is emotion. It's important for our minds. So we have to keep our bodies moving, and the lymphatic system is what we call the garbage collectors of the body. It's really what helps our body detoxify, from all different sorts of toxins. And there's so many now, obviously.
And stress.
Stress. I mean, stress is the biggest out of all. It's a toxin, and the average person's hit with 80,000 toxins, and what happens is it lands in our tissues. The tissues is what we call the acid magnets, or the acid catchers of the body. So toxins, in a nutshell, toxins come into the body, they get into the blood via intestinal permeability, leaky gut, and then the blood has to regulate its pH, and we have a whole buffering system that makes that happen. We have our adrenal glands, we have our blood proteins, we have our lung buffer, we have our kidneys, we have minerals, we have fat as a buffer. So what happens is the body's always trying to neutralize these acids, and eventually it dumps the toxins from the blood into our tissues, and the body holds it there for safekeeping. It's a safer place than the blood and the more important organs of the body.
Right.
So lymphatic drainage is critical because it's like garbage collectors. It literally pulls out these toxins like a vacuum, which is what it's doing right now. I can feel the compressions coming up from my feet up to the legs. Here's the thing we need to know about the lymphatic system. It's a fluid. It parallels our circulatory system, but we have 3 times lymph than we do blood. We all know that our blood is moved by the pumping mechanism of the heart, but we don't have a heart for the lymphatic system. So the lymphatic system is moved by movement, like I'm feeling right now.
So this is compressed, release, compressed, release, compressed, release, compressed, release,
yes.
All the way up.
And as Kelly's saying, it goes all the way up to the heart. Okay, all lymphatic drainage flows by the heart, and what happens is you have valves that literally close. So as it's coming up, the valves close to prevent it from going backwards. And eventually, it's about the 4 pathways of elimination, which is urination, defecation, perspiration, and respiration. So once it gets into the blood, and we can kind of get this back into circulation, the body can release it through its normal pathways. So it's so important now more than ever that we help facilitate the movement of our lymphatic system. So things like this. I mean, I've been around, Kel, for 21 years. I just turned 45. My chronological age was 45 2 days ago.
He looks 25, however.
Well, I'm not 25, but I tested my epigenetic age on my birthday and it was 32, which is super cool. No, and I'm not saying that to impress anyone, but it's more to impress upon you that these things, it's not like, oh, I feel good, I'm going to do this to feel good. Like, this is necessary for your health.
Correct.
It's a requirement because we have so much stress now, and the problem is for so many people, the stress is managing them. We need to manage the stress. And I feel great, I don't have any pain, I'm fit, I'm healthy, but I want to make sure that I stay ahead of that. We want to anticipate. Listen, no one knew that COVID-19 was going to happen.
Right.
We were literally blindsided by this pandemic. But the thing is that the people that came into this pandemic who were eating healthy and clean and were moving their bodies and managing their stress well, they fared better.
Yeah.
So we don't know the road ahead. Right now it's COVID-19 coronavirus. It could be this, it could be that. The point is you don't know, so you've got to be prepared. And if you're not lymphatically draining the body, you're missing one of the most important aspects of your health.
And this, outside of right now when Dr. Gioffre's talking, it puts you in a nice deep parasympathetic state, puts you in relaxation. It kind of forces you into that meditative state that's such a struggle for so many people. And it allows you to go there when you're not like educating others in great ways like you are.
I'm glad you brought that up because that's probably one of the most powerful benefits of this, because when we're stressed, and I think we're all acknowledge that we are all living in this kind of low level or even high level of this constant chronic stress. Physically,
just even watching people wearing masks all day can be stressful.
100%. But it's crazy because in the beginning, when we saw the mask, it was like a shock, right?
Right.
It's like you saw that when you went to your dentist, like Dr. Jerry, but like you didn't see that in Dr. Daryl's office. You didn't see people walking around with it, so it was a shock. But now it's not a shock. Yeah. But here's the thing: it's the law of familiarity, which means it's like a pebble. When the pebble first goes in the shoe, it's like, ow, that hurts. It's creating inflammation and irritation. But if that pebble's been in there for a year, eventually you don't feel it because your body adapts. but the
To
pebbles,
dealing with it
Yes.
at some level, but it's still affecting you.
it's still affecting you. It's worse. There's more irritation. There's more inflammation. You just got used to it.
Your body just closed it down instead of letting it go, and working the lymph lets it go.
Exactly. So everyone's been put into fight or flight.
Yeah.
And when you're in fight and flight, there's a third F, you freeze, like a deer in headlights.
Yes.
And we stop breathing. So what this does by stimulating parasympathetic mode, it helps balance out your nerve system, which is critical for us dealing with stress and for immune system. Because when you're in fight or flight, your cortisol pumps up, it shuts down your digestive system, it shuts down your immune system, and now it's like we're burning sugar as our primary source of fuel.
And as infrared to help your mitochondria, to help you heal, and then the PMF technology at a certain location to help your body open up the emotions. So it's really about putting you in that deep state, allowing your lymph to move, allowing your body to heal, bringing up your immune system.
And down-regulating inflammation, which is critical.
Get off your acid, as he's always talking about, which is brilliant, because the acid is what we're up against, the acid and the toxins, and the better we can get them out by not putting them in, number one, and two, by getting them out, you will have health, you will have wellness, which is the default program of the body.
100%.
And a lot of people do lymph, or compression, but they only do their legs and they only have lymphedema. And you do not need to have lymphedema to have a lymph congestion. That is one of our biggest things that we want to help others understand. Your lymph, as Dr. Daryl said in the beginning, you have to move your lymph.
Right, and I'm going to tell you is that if you're skinny or you're very muscular, you might even be more in danger because the body doesn't have fat as a buffer. Fat in the short run actually helps us.
Right.
Believe it or not, because it's actually protecting all these acidity and the inflammation and all that from damaging the more important parts of the body. But in the long run, the fat's not good. But when you're skinny, there's no place for it to hide. So that acid is just literally draining your body. And what happens is your lymphatic system gets clogged up. We see it on live blood cell testing all the time.
Yep.
I did a live blood cell test yesterday. We saw massive lymphatic congestion.
Right.
So I was talking about FLOWpresso, I was talking about dry skin brush and whole body vibration, all those things. But this is it's easy to do the dry skin brush at home. It's easy to do things like that. But this is like it on steroids. It's like if you want to swim to Europe or you want to get there on a jet plane. Right? I want to get there on a jet plane. I want to get there fast. I want to get there efficiently. And I want to have all the other benefits that associates with something like this.
Well, thank you so much for your time. We love seeing you in your Manhattan office.
I love it. It's much better here, by the way.
It's so
come visit
much
more
better.
often.
Yes, absolutely. And you can find FLOWpresso. Reach out to Dr. Daryl. Reach out to Not Meds, and we'll find you your FLOWpresso.
Get off your acid.